Welcome to the favorites presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Happy Thursday. NFL Week 14 is here. We got a good one tonight between the Cowboys and the Lions. I'm Brandon Kravitz, your gracious host, joined by my two faves and your two faves, the Prime Minister of Degenerate Nation, Stuckey, and the Queen of the Pod, Miss Kendra Middleton. We'll hear from them in a moment. On today's episode, we'll submit our official plays of the week. We've got our stat of the day, two Kings and a Queen parlay, Kendra's pickle prop, action or distraction, your favorite game show. And we planted our flag on Tuesday. Bengals, Falcons, Ravens, in case you missed it. Let's kick things off with Evan Abrams' shrimply unbelievable stat of the week, straight from the primer. We're going to go down to Jacksonville for this one. Since 2015, Indianapolis 3-16-1 ATS against the Jaguars, 1-9 ATS away from Indianapolis. After last week, Daniel Jones 4-11-1 straight up, playing outdoors against teams allowing under 20 points per game. This Jags defense has been pretty good. The Jags also have won every game in Jacksonville against the Colts since 2014. Shout out to Blake Bortles and their underdogs. And this is a Jags podcast. Kendra, this feels like an auto bet.
I could see how people who are not Jags fans believe that. This feels like I'm getting a little too close to the fire. The last couple of seasons have been probably times where I thought I would fade the Jaguars eventually, but didn't. I think this is the year. It feels like there's something in the air. We just saw Ohio State beat Michigan. It feels like there's some weird just curse coming back to reap. I think that this might be the time that it happens for the Colts. Still, like Eric Armstead popped up on the Jags injury report out of nowhere and now has a club on his arm. Just some weird injuries. I thought Hunter Long was going to be back last week still just because of the nature of me expecting him to be back and him not coming back. Don't know what's going on with him. Obviously, Brenton Strange has been huge for them. Trayvon Walker is still a bit of a question mark about what's going on with him. I know that Daniel Jones is playing with a broken leg, which, you know what? We're a Jags podcast. I was born and raised in Duval County, but playing with a broken leg is pretty badass. For me, I just can't. I did back the Jags once recently. We'll stick with that. Can't get to the number here. Think it feels a little just too spooky for me as a person and as a fan because it feels like we're trending so upward right now that it's coming out Jags. I do think that they have the easiest schedule remaining the rest of the year. Still going to make the playoffs. Don't know if they survive a first round, but it just feels like there's something in the air after the Ohio State Michigan game that makes me feel like I can't do it. Although I will say the Jags are going balls to the wall this week. The crowd is going to be out there. They're pushing people to come. They're giving out a bunch of free crap saying that this is like the biggest regular season game we've had in a long time. Fans will be out there. It will be loud. I'm spooked.
Okay, so you're
What, that was a
throwing.
long-winded way of saying what? Or do you like the Jags or not? I still don't
It
even know.
sounds
No,
like
I'm spooked.
no.
I
It
don't.
sounds like no.
No, I don't.
Do you want to throw any more cold water on this, Stuckey, or are you in? I have already placed this bet, by the way, and I'm going to make a case for it, a full case for it later in the show.
But I think it's like a coin flip game, so would lean that way. The injuries for the Jags are definitely worth watching. Like they could really use Armstead, Walker. I mean, they got some of their linebackers, Olukon and Lloyd popped up on the injury report. You got Parker Washington, a couple offensive linemen. The Colts defense isn't the same without Buckner, and then obviously without Gardner, it doesn't have the same ceiling and flexibility to do things with him locking down one side of the field. So those are big losses. I mean, with the Colts, when they have both Grover Stort and DeForest Buckner in the game, they're allowing close to 1 yard fewer per carry. So, and whenever I look at a Jags game, the first handicap for me is can they run the ball? And when a Liam Cohen offense can run the ball, and when they have been able to run the ball this year, everything else kind of flows from there. Jacoby Myers has been an incredible addition. I mean, he's been great right from the jump. He's also not dropping passes, which has plagued their receivers. Parker Washington's also been pretty good. He's dealing with an injury as well. So the Jags have a lot of injuries, but yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones without this is why I would like the Jags at their full defense because if they're able to get pressure on Jones, he just doesn't have the same lateral movement.
Oh, if they were healthy, I'd be all over the Jags right now. But if you're really like fiending for action in this game, you're just like a sicko who loves the AFC South. I think the over's the play here.
So yeah, I mean, so I guess I would lean Jags with the points. A really high leverage game because I mean, if you look at what the Colts, who were sitting very pretty, and I mean, they're lucky they pulled out that. Now, granted, they probably should have beat the Chiefs, but they're lucky they pulled out that game against the Falcons in overtime because if not, they would have lost four straight. And their remaining schedule is at Jacksonville, a place where they have had no success, as Evan and you alluded to, at Seattle, San Fran, Jacksonville again, at Houston. I mean, their last five games are against five potential playoff teams. Four of them are in the playoffs as of this moment. So, yeah, huge game. And then the Jags, if they can get this game and then say the Chiefs beat the Texans on Sunday night, regardless of that result, they'll still be in first place. But if you kind of, I think that the Texans are kind of charging and they might be more dangerous than the Colts at the moment. So if they can get those two results this week, and then you're, probably a double digit favorite next week against the Jets at home. You're at the Broncos. That's a winnable game. You get the Colts again, then you're home against the Titans to end the season. So, yeah, just a huge game for both teams given the schedules. The opportunity for the Jags is there if they can get this game and they've been good at home. I mean, if you look at the Jags this year, they beat the Texans. They beat the Chiefs. So they dominated the Chargers. So they have some good results at home. And they have some good results over playoff teams this year. So I mean they won at San Francisco when San Francisco was healthier than they are right now. So yeah, huge game for both teams. Like if the Colts lose this, alarms are going to start to go off in Indianapolis. And
And
if the
if the
Jags
Texans
win,
win,
yeah, then if the Jags win, excitement in
Yeah,
Duval.
big
It's going to
time.
go through the
Four
roof.
wins in a row. If the Jags end up winning this one, the Colts' remaining schedule is tough. The percentage chance, if the Colts win this game, they have a 54% chance to win the division, 14% chance if they lose. For the Jags, it goes up to 65% with a win, 19% with a loss. And it's one of many games this week. It's one of the reasons I think this could go down as the best week of the season when all is said and done if we were to go back and re-rank it. Bears, Packers, Colts, Jags, Chiefs, Texans, Ravens, Steelers, Cowboys, Lions. All of these games have either major division implications or playoff implications, where we could essentially see teams eliminated, really good teams that are bounced with a loss, and teams that set themselves up for success in a
Yeah, three
win.
games for first place in the divisions.
Awesome. That's as good as it gets. So we're going to give out some of our plays coming up in a bit. I saw a YouTube comment on one of our recent streams that said it's hard to take this podcast seriously when they're interjecting these random conversations about nothing. And with that said, it's time to kick it over to Stuckey for our random question of the week.
Yeah. Well, sorry to that person. We try to mix in some fun and some stories on this podcast, so hopefully you enjoy it. Most of you enjoy it. Um,
we're sports robots, you guys. No fun, nothing, just picks and shut up.
I really want I didn't want to get into a YouTube argument with anybody, but so you can't take picks seriously if people have thoughts on things outside of football. That I don't know if that adds up, but yeah,
Welcome to being a girl.
we'll continue to have a good time. Stuckey, what is on your mind?
um, what is your, let's see, what is your mount? We were just talking about this. I was gonna go, well, let me start with this. What is your life progression of your main drink? So your drink in life. I think it says a lot about a person.
All right, I'm gonna write
So
mine down.
like I mean, when I was like real young, like middle school, we would steal my dad's Doers, which is why like I've never fallen completely in love with like brown liquor. And then I would move on to like the most disgusting, like yeah, I remember like freshman year of high school, we would just like chug bottles of Bacardi O, like the sweetest, oh my God, it's at then like I remember doing like Southern Comfort shots. Oh God, SoCo Lime shots. But then in college, I was big gin and tonic. Got in really big into
In
Hendrix.
college?
Yep, Hendrix and tonic, and then
What kind of money were you balling with in college? What the hell? We were drinking like quarter pitchers of beer.
oh well, in high school too. I should mention Natty Light. I mean Natty Ice, 30 packs of
You and
Natty
every
Ice.
other high schooler.
Natty Ice. That was Natty Ice kegs and yeah. So, but then yeah, gin and tonic, and then I went to double Tito's yellow Red Bull first for years. So I was Red Bull vodka and in my 20s, and then I went to yellow Red Bull. And then since I guess I've matured, I'll have occasional bourbon, but I mainly just drink water during the week, and then on weekends I'm mainly double Tito's soda lime. That's my drink as of now. So that's kind of my progression.
Getting Kang.
I wrote a book about mine. It started back at 16 years old with Smirnoff Ice, followed by a progression to then I got to light beer, of course, because then you get to an age where you're only drinking out of kegs. And then I converted to pumpkin ale when I found that you can actually drink beer that has flavor and enjoy it. Then I realized that I wasn't getting inebriated enough, so we switched to IPAs. Then you went through the liquor stage: Jameson with picklebacks, mojitos out at the beach, gin and tonics if we're at a wedding, dirty martini when you're feeling fancy. And now I'm pretty much back on the beer and some red wine. But that's been the progression throughout my life. What about you, Kendra?
Okay, I'm kind of boring. I was like a homeschooled freak until college. So I didn't go to any parties. My first high school party I ever went to, I was 18 and I literally went in to get my friend's little sister out and left. And that was my first high school party. So when I was in college, I went through like a big Michelob Ultra phase. And if I was drinking liquor at the bar, because you could get into the bar with anybody's ID in the SEC, I was tequila water with lime. Now,
Gosh, with that. Good
yeah,
Lord.
like I've always been into like the health and fitness thing, which is crazy to say when you're talking about alcohol, but now I don't drink unless I'm on vacation. So I would say like beer, Guinness, Jameson ginger, or if they have blue cheese olives, I want like the swampiest dirty blue cheese olive martini ever. Like I want mostly olive juice with a little bit of vodka.
You went from
And
homeschool to the SEC?
yeah, girl, I sure did.
That can't be many people who have made that jump.
I think
Isn't
you'd be
that
surprised
crazy?
in the South how many people are keeping their kids home from school.
Yeah, that is also true. Yeah, I did go. I went from homeschooling to interning in San Francisco for 16 months and then to the SEC and then to UNH. Woohoo!
Kevin, how about you? I mean, I know your drinks, but
Started with vodka and went to whiskey. I think would be the easiest way to explain my progression.
simple man. All right, and then
Yeah.
one bonus question. You have to answer this. Um, well, what is your Mount Rushmore of TV shows? I know
Do
that
we have
Kevin's
a
they
specific
love.
genre? Like, are we going
Nope, and
comedy?
you have to answer it with your four TV shows. Obviously, The Wire for me is on there. I'll say Wire, Sopranos, uh, Justified, and um, and I should have thought of this ahead of time. And then I'll say there's so many I want to say, but then I'll say Breaking Bad. Kendra, do
Kendra, I'll
you
let
have a
you go
Mount Rushmore? Is
first.
it Love Island?
I was gonna
Love
say
Island UK, Love Island Australia.
Survivor, Love Survivor, Lost, and Game of Thrones, probably my top three. And then Love Island, probably four. I do like Love Island, but I only watch the UK and the US.
You know what's really good that I just that I was able to watch when I was sick was Task on HBO, which recently came out. Sick show. Brandon, I know you have Baywatch as one of
For
yours.
sure. Yeah. I mean, that's an auto face on the, we got to put Pam Anderson's face on the mountain. We're building a mountain with faces, guys. This is an obvious choice. I'll add Dexter to the list, The Office, and Succession.
I don't
I
get the
like
Office
Succession.
thing.
Dexter got so bad I couldn't even finish. Like it was good
Yeah,
originally.
I did watch Dexter.
It was so good early on that I just rode the wave. But yeah, it kind of peaks at season 3 or 4.
A season 1 Mount Rushmore is Weeds, but then it got bad. Evan, do you have a Mount Rushmore TV?
Yeah. I mean, I'll just list off like probably my favorites, like Wire, Thrones, Black Mirror, Squid Game, Ozark.
Ozark
I'm
is
a
up there for
zombie
me.
guy. I'm a zombie guy, so like Stranger Things, Walking Dead's cool. The one that's under the radar that people might like the most, like Night of, is one I would recommend. That's like
That's good.
a lot of people don't know. Narcos, I don't know, things of that nature. But I've watched a lot.
I like the
Yeah.
Black Mirror nod. Any show where I don't have to follow it in sequential order to me, and it's a rare occurrence, I find
Black Mirror
very
is
entertaining.
unreal. Might be my favorite overall, but I'm a sicko. Like I'm a deep sicko, which you kind of have to be for that show.
Next time, I think we should just do reality television because that's just a whole other.
All right, we got to move on, but I will say the best show I've watched in the last year is The Pit, and I think the second season comes out in like January. That show was incredible. I think it's on HBO too. All right, action or distraction time.
Let's do it. The number 1 A grade in the luck rankings per Nick Giffen, the Las Vegas Raiders +7.5 hosting the Denver Broncos. All luck sides from week 13 to the Super Bowl, 68% cover rate. Action or distraction, Stuckey, on betting the stinky Las Vegas Raiders.
Action. I did it already. It's off. It's terrible. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm dreading it. That offensive line, Geno Smith, it's bad, but I make it under a touchdown. It is a luck side. I mean, the Broncos, they've played 6 games away from home this year, and they have yet to win a game by more than 4. And you're talking to games, they played the Jets when the Jets had -10 passing yards. These two teams played recently in Denver. The final score was 10-7. The Raiders were on a short week. Were coming off an overtime game, and their defense is on the field for 85 plays. Well, now it's the second straight road game for the Broncos. Their defense on the field for 95, 100 plays, including penalties. Their pressure rate is kind of cratered of late. I get it. The offensive line for the Raiders might just ruin this game. But it's still Bo Nix. He's still inaccurate. I got to take the points here.
I have a question.
It's ugly, but I'm doing it.
Would we feel better about the Raiders if it was Aiden O'Connell? Because I'm getting to the point where I think that I would.
I wouldn't hate it.
I don't think the offense is going to do much regardless. Like you just got to throw it to Bowers a couple times, throw it to Genty out of the backfield, hope Tucker breaks one. But this has to be a low scoring game. The Raiders defense can be feisty, and the Broncos offense just can beat itself. Raiders are going to play a lot of zone, prevent explosive plays. Knicks can go through long stretches where he's just completely inaccurate. The Broncos running game hasn't been that great. And over the last 4 weeks, the Broncos pressure rate is bottom 5 in the NFL. I mean, last week they got a 15% pressure rate against the Commanders. I get Tunsil's good, but Connerly's been really struggling, and he allowed no pressures. So their defense could be a little tired out here as well. The home divisional dog, historically 57% against the spread, catching over a touchdown. I'm taking it. It's ugly. It's awful. I know. I get it. And maybe look, Geno went under center some more. They're playing a lot of rookies. They played a lot of rookies last week. They played, Greedy Vance, Darian Porter some more. They started a rookie at right guard and then rotated him with Antoni Mafi. So like they're trying to get a look at some other guys, which adds some variance, but maybe you get some additional wrinkles this year, the second week of the new play caller. I'm not a huge fan of Greg Olson, but it can't be worse than what Chip Kelly. I don't know what Chip Kelly was doing. I'm taking
I don't hate the look. It's more so just the Broncos look like they're due for a loss. It's divisional, maybe an ugly loss for the Broncos. Obviously the Rams and the Panthers weren't a divisional matchup last week, and the Panthers are way better than what's going on in Vegas, but it feels like maybe that's the kind of ugly loss that we'll get here. I can't put money on the Raiders as much as I think it's like the sharp side.
Well, they covered the last time these two teams played. Remember, the Raiders held this Broncos team to just 10 points, and that was in Denver. I think a sprinkle on the money line, not a bad idea either at +320. The Broncos bottom 3 cover rate in the NFL when they are listed as a favorite. Justin Herbert preparing to give it a go on Monday Night Football. However, Trey Lance has been getting first team reps and will likely get worked in goal line situations, even if Herbert plays. So, Kendra, action or distraction on Trey Lance for an anytime touchdown. This is not listed yet. My guess is that when it does pop on DraftKings, it's going to be between the 4-1 to plus 500 range.
I like the look. I was actually talking to David, our producer, before we got on the air, trying to convince myself to get in on the Eagles. And the Trey Lance angle is the reason that I did. So I love the look here. Obviously he's been getting the reps. I think it would be dumb for them to play Herbert this week. I think that you're obviously going to get him. But the whole point of the defense here, especially in goal line opportunities or, any kind of tush push scenario, you're going to have Trey Lance out there. He looked good in the preseason. I love the look of this. It's not something that crossed my mind. Love the creativity. I think it's worth, a sprinkle of whatever you find valuable.
Hopefully this doesn't become a popular idea, because then that'll end up making this unbettable. This has to be, you have to get this at long odds in order to bet it. If you're betting a backup quarterback to score a touchdown, you better get 4-1 would be the basement for me. We're talking quarter unit at the most. Stuckey, any feel for that?
None. Zero. Won't waste your time.
Coming up.
I got any more info on this game? I mean, that's the Monday night game. It's only Thursday, so trying to get more intel on Herbert, and it's going to be interesting to see. Like, he pretty much, like, just going pure shotgun, I don't think it's going to have that much of an impact on their offense. I mean, the biggest thing I'm worried about with the Chargers is just their offensive line against the Eagles front. That's like how much can the Eagles ruin the game for the Chargers, because they really can't block anybody. And this Eagles defense on a good day is as good as anybody. So that's my biggest concern. But everything has the right price, so it depends on what.
Right.
But at anytime touchdowns aren't my specialty. I don't price them. I'll have to see. What to see. I would like to know what, like, Kerner and Bravon and Giffen price that at. There are any quick plug on the Anytime Touchdown show. Check that out. They might have something there, but not my specialty.
It is a must, and I'm thinking that's one that they might end up bringing up. Not our specialty either, but could be one worth a look if you get it at a long number. Ben Roethlisberger suggested that Mike Tomlin should leave the Pittsburgh Steelers to take the Penn State job. Action or distraction, Stuckey, on that being a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, the Penn State needs someone. It's probably a good idea for Penn State. I mean, they just need someone at this point. I mean, what's the recruiting classes like? Bottom of the barrel right now. I don't know if Tomlin has the chops for college and, like, the recruiting and all that, but by the way, I think Herbert already takes like 80% of his snaps under shotgun. I'm trying to just think of the number, but sorry, that was on my mind. I think it's a good idea for the Steelers. Like, I think Tomlin has been a good coach. He's been great. I mean, like, the guy never had a losing record. He's in one of the best motivators for, like, spots, the rah-rah. And this year, the team doesn't have the same caliber of defense. But the Steelers, if I was a Steelers fan, they just need a reset. And sometimes the voice gets old, right? And you just need a new voice in the room. You need a new direction. And the Steelers have been stuck in purgatory for going on 10 years. I mean, yeah, they go 9-8. They haven't won a playoff game in forever. And because they're stuck in limbo, they can't get a quarterback, right? So, like, you're bringing in these rentals post Big Ben, and the end of the Big Ben was ugly, and you can't actually reset everything. And then you end up, like, paying Watt a bunch of money, and then you bring in Rodgers. You're talking about bringing Rodgers back next week. He was just had his 42nd birthday cake. The Steelers need, and they should have done this like 2 years ago. You can't. That's easy to say, but it would have been ideal if they did this 2 years ago, right? You have all these elite quarterbacks in the AFC, so, like, a couple years ago was the time to blow it up, have a really bad season, and then try to get your quarterback. Obviously, didn't work out with Kenny Pickett, but that's what they need. They need a full reset. Like, this team isn't going to win the Super Bowl. They're not close to winning a Super Bowl. And until they find their franchise quarterback, until any team finds their franchise quarterback, you're not winning the Super Bowl in the NFL. I mean, maybe this year in the AFC you can get there because who knows who's even going to be in there. But yeah, I think it would be good for the Steelers to just do something different.
I don't disagree with you. Like, I think Tomlin needs a change of scenery, and so do they. I think that if this was a market like a Philly, like a Boston, like a Dallas or something like that, you can't middle in those markets for as long as he has. And he's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. Some of the, win totals that he's gotten out of like completely ass teams, like you said, the quarterback point, impressive, but you can't just middle the way that he has for so long in other markets. But the thing is that I don't know if you actually watched his response to this question. He's a no bullshit guy. Like he's short, but he's a no bullshit guy. And the way that he answered this question, there's no way that this is even an option for him, because if it is, like, he sounded like he was absolutely insulted that anyone would even consider that, let alone ask him. I get that there's a lot of, smoke and mirrors with, the media and everything in professional sports, but it sounded like he was insulted that he was even being asked this question. I don't know if you can be, unless he's just the best bullshitter of all bullshitters, which could be true. I could be reading it wrong. But like, I don't think that you can act insulted when being asked a question and then turn around and do something like that. That's just my takeaway from it. I don't know if you actually saw the clip, but he like actually genuinely was like disgusted.
I think he identifies himself very heavily to being the Steelers head coach, and I think it would be difficult for him to break away from that from a mental perspective. If he can't bullshit, by the way, not going to work in college, because that is
Talk about needing to be a bullshitter.
BS heavy sport. Still to come, 2 Kings and a Queen get nominated in our weekly parlay, but first, a word about DraftKings from the First Lady.
The Favorites podcast is sponsored by DraftKings, and in partnership with DraftKings, our listeners can get a great offer. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. That's right, new customers can turn $5 into $200 if your bet wins, paid instantly in bonus bets. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry, you can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings daily fantasy sports and have the shot to win cash prizes. To get started, use promo code FAVORITES when signing up. Again, use code FAVORITES when signing up with DraftKings to get on board. The crown is yours.
Kendra, talk to us. What prop has you in a pickle in week 14?
All right, so I think that I have to go with the Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward beef. We have an absolute mid-off between these two rookies on shitty teams this week, who I don't think really like each other. I know that Cam Ward got asked a question in press this week if this beef was real, and he kind of just was like, nah, it's whatever. We don't talk during the season. Frankly, he kind of said low-key he didn't have time for it, which makes me think that this beef is true. Like, if the media is bringing it up, even if it's just that you guys were, rookies in the same class, whatever, at the same position, I don't think that they like each other. So I want to talk about who is more likely to cover their passing prop. Cam Ward, 180 plus is minus 109, and Shedeur to go over 160 is minus 108. Who do you think is more likely to get after their total, you guys?
I'll go with the lower number against the poorer defense. I would go Shedeur Sanders, personally.
I mean, the Browns are going to try to run it more. Like the Titans' run D is pretty good and now that they're healthy in their defensive line, the Browns' run D is really good. The Titans are dogs, so I guess I'll go with them. But oof, that's a rough one. I mean, I'm still laughing at this total. It is ticked up a bit. It's up to what, 34 and a half, with there's no real win. So it's unusual to see totals this low, but I guess I'll go with the Titans, but no strong conviction.
All right,
So
that's my pickle prop.
Well, then we didn't really help because you're still in a pickle.
Yeah, you
How
guys.
about just taking both of their unders? Let's just fade both of them. Let's just fade all of it.
Evan.
I guess the Titans. Just go with the Titans. I mean, I agree with Stuck though. That game is a complete and utter stay away. I mean, there's about 10-mile-an-hour winds. It's going to be like 28 degrees. It's going to be just a shitty game. I kind of like Cleveland in real shitty games because I feel like they're just going to take the rock out of Shador's hands, which is what I would like. But we'll see.
Browns have
4.5, by the
offensive
way.
line injuries worth noting too, a couple with Teller and Conklin. By the way, the main reason to watch Browns games is Myles Garrett, who is probably going to break the record. And I mean, he could go off for 3 or 4 sacks in any game. So I'm rooting for him to get the record.
And Cam Moore,
He deserves it. He deserves some joy
He does.
in
Well,
Cleveland
no,
and like
actually, he chose that fate for himself. Does he? He could have left.
but he stayed. I mean, I think he's
feel
4
bad for
sacks
him.
away, right? Isn't he 4 sacks away?
Yeah, 4 or 5, I think.
So he's getting that. And
He could
I
get that
wouldn't be
against Cam
shocked
Ward.
if he gets it this week.
Right. All right, it is
Fair.
time for the reason you all came here today. The 2 Kings and a Queen Parlay. We nominate 2 plays apiece, see if we can find some general consensus, and land on our team-built parlay presented by DraftKings. Kendra, get us started. What are we looking at?
All right, so I gave out my plant the flag game on Tuesday as Cincy. I believe it was 6 at the time. It's now 5.5. So I'm going to offer that on the table. But if we want to leave our plant the flag games out of it, I'm going to give you guys Houston with the 3.5 or the Steelers with the 6.
Well, I'm on the Ravens minus
Evan
the points.
did
so
not look like he liked either of those.
No, I'm thinking. This is my thinking face.
I think he's going to end up having to break a tie. Actually, Stuckey had said that he kind of agrees with me on the Ravens side. I already bet the Ravens as my first bet of the week. No way I can rubber stamp the Steelers here. So it would be the Texans for me. I'm a little bit stuck in the middle. That game itself has me in a pickle. The trends say Chiefs,
We could go
Chiefs,
Cincy.
but
We can stick with Cincy.
I think we should keep Cincy out. I think we should leave the plant the flag games to the side.
I'm fine with
get
the
more picks in
Texans. The Steelers, I mean, just the state of their offense. I mean, over the past 4 weeks, Aaron Rodgers has been the worst quarterback in the NFL. I mean, you look at adjusted EPA, you look at EPA plus completion percentage over expectation. He's been worse than everyone. They haven't completed a pass more than 20 yards downfield in a month. And now he has this injury, and they have to go predominantly pistol, and now their defense is bad, and there's key injuries. And I mean, the Bills ran 27 of the same play, 27 of the same rushing play last week, and it worked every time, and they made no adjustments. Now, having said that, I am conditioned to just expect every Ravens Steelers game to be close, and this to be 20-17. It doesn't matter who's playing, how bad one of the teams are. Generally speaking, I think Harbaugh and Tomlin have played each other since 2008 in the regular season, so that's 34 times. I think 26 of them have been decided by one possession. Whenever one of them is an underdog of 3 or more points, this is stunning. They are 19-3-3 against the spread, 86.4%. So, and the Ravens offense right now is not right because Lamar's not healthy. Now, there's upside with the Ravens that I don't think you have with the Steelers. Like, eventually Lamar is going to get healthier and it's going to look better. And it should be better than, like last week you had that fumble at the goal line, but Lamar hasn't been accurate. I mean, some of the numbers for Jackson are very, very worrying. I mean, you look at his on-target rate since he came back from his injury. It's second worst in the NFL. His catchable ball rate, the worst it's ever been in his career, third worst in the NFL. So I don't really trust the Ravens offense right now. I definitely don't trust the Steelers offense. So I think we can go.
For me, it's more so like this is the crazy spot that everybody is like the Steelers suck, Aaron Rodgers is bad. And then they win a game like this that they're not supposed to. That's just in division, grimy, doubting Tomlin game. And that's where I'm at. It just, the number feels too big for an in division, like the Steelers, Tomlin, like just crazy, what the hell type of game.
This just doesn't feel like the defense they can win a grimy game. Can you sell me on the Texans though? Because I kind of want to get there on them.
Yeah, I mean at 3.5.
Houston's offensive line, and it's 3.5 and not 3.
Yeah, I mean, the
I'm
Chiefs'
sorry, Kansas
offensive
City's
line
offensive
injuries.
line.
The Chiefs' offensive line injuries are huge going up against.
And yeah,
The Texans' offenses look more functional. Woody Marks, who is banged up, you have to keep an eye on him. He provides more juice in the backfield, out of the backfield. Their offensive line has also come together. Stroud looked good last week.
yeah, he did, and I didn't expect him to.
Yeah, having Higgins, like when Collins was out, developing some of the other younger receivers has really helped their offense. So their offense is now a much more serious operation. And but these are the two best under teams, by the way, in the NFL over the past 3 years. I think the Texans are number one at 31 and 15. The Chiefs are number two at 30 and 16. The Chiefs unders at home over the past 3 seasons, 17 and 6. So I think this will be a lower scoring game, points at a premium. And I think that the Texans' defensive line can really dominate this game, cause a lot of negative plays, kill some drives. So feels like a field goal, lower scoring game. So yeah, I'm okay with we taking the 3.5 at DK with the Texans.
I
Evan,
will
do
say
you have any thoughts?
Evan has a great trend on this, so maybe I'll speak for him here and we'll get his opinion on the game. But back-to-back road games for the Texans, when teams go into Arrowhead after a road game and your name isn't Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, you're 0-20 straight up. I know we're looking to cover the 3.5 here, so that doesn't exclude the play here. It's just that is an overwhelming number of going on the road and then into Arrowhead to take on the Chiefs. And this is a desperate Chiefs team. That's my issue here. I totally see what you guys are saying.
It's been a desperate Chiefs
Houston
team for weeks, though. I mean, like,
but this is it. If they lose, when I say
we said that
desperate,
last week.
Their
same with the
backs are
Texans, though.
against.
If they lose, they're done, and their defense is better.
Like, yeah, that's a desperate spot for the Texans too. I think the most likely result is the Chiefs probably win by 3. So I'm fine with taking
the 3.5 is crucial.
Evan, take it home.
Texans. Here's a trivia question: who's the least profitable starting quarterback in the NFL since November of last year?
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Here's a better one. If the game goes under this week, Mahomes will be the most profitable starting quarterback since 2005 to the under at home. Any quarterback in that span.
17-6 last week.
Well, me on the road with the Cowboys, so with their total, so I'm out. No.
All right, so we're going Texans plus 3.5. I'll throw out. I would have thrown out the Falcons, but that's down to 7, and we'll keep the flag games out. Talked about that on the previous episode.
I am so close to getting in on the Falcons. Can you sell me on the Falcons?
You were here for the last episode.
Yeah, I know.
So obviously you didn't listen.
Yeah,
so
give us. Hey,
you got to go back and listen.
Use
our numbers up. You got to go listen to that episode.
Exactly.
I do listen to our shows back.
Well, so you've listened to me twice talk about the Falcons, and now you still don't know. So obviously you just tuned me out. But I mean, Falcons, look, they're 1-4 their past 5 games, plus 1 point differential. They trailed with 1 second to go in just one of the games. It was at New England by 1 point. They've been in every game. They've been extremely unlucky. Their defense can get pressure. Darnold is very sensitive to pressure. This is similar to the.
They've looked like crap the last 2 weeks too, as far as like Seattle has looked this season, and they're my darlings. So
I mean, since week 10, Darnold 25th in EPA plus completion percentage over expectation, 26th adjusted EPA per play. Before week 10, he was number one in both. I think they miss Torrey Horton. Shaheed's given them nothing. The Falcons can get pressure. The Falcons will blitz. It's a lot of similar defensive schematics to the Rams and the Vikings, who have given Darnold a lot of issues. So Cousins is playing better, and hopefully you get Drake London here. But even if not, I think they can keep this close. Falcons do a good job of eliminating explosive pass plays. Their run D's better with Diablo back. It's still bad, but the Seahawks are not a great rushing team. I mean, you're like 25th.
All right, you know what, Stuckey? I'm gonna go in with you. You've gotten me there.
Yeah, and Seahawks easy schedule so far.
Seahawks.
I'm a believer, but they're 1-3 versus teams currently in the playoffs. 8-0 against teams that are not. I think this is probably the peak of the market. They're coming off of games against the Titans and Max Brosmer. And by the way, that game was 3-0. Brosmer about to take the lead 7-3 at the end of the first half. Road teams off of a home shutout, by the way, 17-35-1 against the spread over the past 20 years, 32.7%. So that's my case on the Falcons. But I'll throw out the Raiders, who I already talked about. It's a Bo Nix fade as a favorite of more than a touchdown. For what it's worth, home divisional dogs of more than a touchdown with a total below 42, so lower scoring game, points at a premium. 21-9 against the spread since 2003, covering by over a touchdown per game, 70% against the spread. Broncos off that overtime game, the defense could be a little bit fatigued here. So I'll throw out the Raiders plus 7.5. And this is disgusting, but we'll go buy low, Vikings money line. JJ McCarthy, can he complete a pass? I don't know. But it can't be worse than Brosmer. I was saying it can't be worse than McCarthy with Brosmer, but here we are back full circle.
You don't think the Commanders have been like right in it, kind of chomping at the bit, due for a win kind of situation?
So are the Vikings. Here's the thing: the Vikings, great home field advantage. The Commanders off that overtime. It's their first road game in 41 days, by the way, as well. Their defense is still really bad. I know Dan Quinn has fixed some things, simplified it, more zone, but it's still a really bad defense. The Vikings defense will be the best unit on the field. I think if Daniels plays, that's a bad thing for Washington. It could be some rust. He struggles against the blitz. He hasn't been in rhythm all year. I mean, Daniels and Evan talked about this in his primer. Daniels and Mariota have the same amount of snaps this year. Mariota's numbers are better. So
Mariota.
Yeah. And the buy low Vikings, this is a spot I usually like. Team off of a shutout. Historically, as a dog or a favorite of less than 3, 56, 36, and 3 against the spread since 2003, 61%. Teams after scoring 3 or less, 90, 63, and 5 against the spread, close to 60% over the past 10 years. And here's who the Vikings, I think it's just this is the bottom, the very bottom of the market on the Vikings. They were 3-2 before their bye week. Since then, they went Eagles, who they should have beat. They outplayed them. At the Chargers, at the Lions, they won with McCarthy. Ravens, Bears, at Packers, at Seahawks. Those are all playoff teams. Their schedule has been brutal. This will be a nice break for them. So Vikings money line or Raiders. So I'm either giving you JJ McCarthy or Geno Smith. Raiders plus 7.5.
Wow. First of all, adorable guys that you're holding hands with Kirk Cousins. I could picture you guys skipping through a meadow with you guys as a trio. I'm going to lay off of that one. I'm going to vote the Raiders. I don't think the power ratings are really catching just how bad the quarterback play has been for Minnesota. I hear you. Definite buy low, but I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I love the idea of fading Bo Nix as a favorite. They're catching 80% of the tickets. Hello, people. The Broncos don't cover in these situations.
Evan.
But what are you voting? Who are you voting for?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I want to keep the Falcons, but
He just calls on me without ever even making a pick.
I want to keep the Falcons.
Kendra did not have enough espresso today.
Vikings or Raiders,
more shots
Kendra?
of espresso before the show.
Probably Vikings.
All right, so Evan's got to break it.
Jesus. I mean, I just can't take the bottom of a market when I'm laying 2 points. Because I agree with Stuck, but I think, I don't know. I guess I'll take the Raiders. But in this circumstance, I feel like we got the best Raiders performance against the Broncos last time. They played zone. Knicks, I see this game being 21-7, 21-10, and the Broncos will cover and will continue to be like, what the hell is wrong with this team? But Raiders, Vegas, let's go. They'll lose by 7. Let's do it.
All right, we got 2 in there.
17-10.
Yeah.
We're definitely in for that. Texans plus 3.5. Raiders.
I need a lobotomy.
This one's ugly, but the last time I hated ours and it looked really ugly, we hit.
Oh, well, then let's make this really gross. I got the Jags plus 1.5. That's not gross. They've won 3 games in a row. Or the Jets plus 3. We flipped the calendar to December. We're headed up north. It means one thing. It's fade Tua season. Tua is 6-0 straight up against the Jets in his career. However, he's 0-7 in games where the weather is between 40 and 46 degrees. This one's clocking in at 41. Tyrod Taylor's a cover machine. 7-0-1 against the spread as a starter since 2022. Give me the New York Jets +3. We already talked about the Jags. I mean, this is just simply, this is what they do against a team that's trending in the wrong direction. The Jags beat the Colts in Jacksonville. It's as tried and true as anything else that's rolling in the NFL right now. Kendra, where's your vote? If we really want to make this parlay disgusting, it's got to be the Jets.
No, we before we got on the show, I told you that I was close to getting in on the Jets, and the only reason that I could not was because of their injury report. And that's the reason I can't really officially, finally myself get to it, but I was close. I don't want anything to do with the Jags. I like the Jets more in both scenarios anyway. Like I said, it feels like there's some weird stuff in the air, which points Jets and Jags losing. Jets, Jets.
I haven't played either. I lean both. Jets are due for an interception. They still don't have one.
Oh, so they'll get one this week.
Cold,
don't you fear.
2 in the cold. That's like, and that could be the difference here. Dolphins' run D's been good. Can Taylor, AD Mitchell, can he have a big game? Can they take advantage of the Dolphins secondary? I don't know, but it should be a low scoring ugly game, like 3. I think it's at a premium. Jets special teams, by the way, have been historically good. Like Nick Folk, probably it should be an all-pro kicker. They beat the Browns on 2 returns. They had their kick game. They won the game last week because of special teams. These teams played early in the year. The Jets outgained them by 100 yards, and they just had 3 turnovers and didn't get a 4th down. So I lean both. Haven't played it. So I'm gonna flip a coin. It's Jags. Evan has to break another tie.
Jags, I'll go with as well. I just don't trust anything in that Miami Jets game, but I do think Tua turn of the ball over is probably something that's going to show up. So, if anything, I would lean the Jets, but there's just like you mentioned those receivers stuck that would need to succeed for them to beat the Dolphins, and it made me throw up in my mouth a tiny bit. So, Jaguars.
Tua interception. Who would throw an interception? I'll be betting that.
Yeah, that feels right.
All right,
that
that'll be our way of
in the parlay.
That'll be our way of still sticking that one in there.
Jags. The Jags got us to they were in our parlay the last time. Both times that we hit our 5-1 and 8-1.
I really like this one.
And here's the thing: this all weirdly points back to me saying the Texans were going to win this division last week. Because if we hit this, that means the Texans win, and I think that the Jags will eventually crap the bed, and the Texans are going to win out. That's what's going to happen. I'm calling it.
Colts by 1, Chiefs by 3.
Yep.
Raiders +7.5, Texans +3.5, Jags +1.5. 2 Kings and a Queen parlay +581 over on DraftKings. The crown is yours. That'll do it for this week's Thursday episode. Special thanks to our producers, Gifford Gould, David Payne, Stats Hound, Evan Abrams. The favorites will return on Sunday night, a week 14 recap. Catch it right here on the Action Network YouTube page. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time here on the Favorites Podcast, presented by DraftKings. We're out.